Hello, and thank you for your interest in the flood protection initiatives that we are embarking on at the E.L. Smith Water Treatment Plant. My name is Yolanda Casiero. I'm a project manager at the Edmonton Water Treatment Plants. This video is specific to the flood initiatives and some concepts that we have for the E.L. Smith plant, but if you'd like some further information on flooding at both the E.L. Smith and Rossdale plants, we have another video that we've recorded that has some information in a more general format. We're recording these videos to be able to reach those of you who are not able to join us in person. We're certainly interested in your feedback, and I'm going to get started with some details now. So this is an image of flooding at the E.L. Smith plant. You can see the reach of a 1 in 500 year flood level and what that means for the plant. You can see in blue the North Saskatchewan River and where the river overtops its banks and inundates the sites. We have impacts to our low lift pump houses, which take that raw water out of the river and draw it up into the water treatment plant. And we also have impacts to our buildings where we house our additives for the treatment process. Our reservoirs become surrounded by water, but not fully inundated. And we have some potential impacts to our high lift transformers that take that treated water, that clean, safe drinking water that you're used to, and pushes it out into the community. In this next slide, there's a photo of a 1 in 50 year flood at E.L. Smith. That happened in July of 1986, and that just gives you an idea of how high the floodwaters could rise at 1 in 50. We're designing to 1 in 500, so the floodwaters could get quite a lot higher than what's shown there. In the next slide, you'll be able to see where the river sits in its usual place and how high up that water got in 1986, and just remembering that previous slide, how much the site could be inundated from where the river sits at its normal level. So we'd like to use a combination of earthen embankments and flood walls to protect the water treatment plants to stop that water from coming up over the banks and inundating the sites. We'd like to minimize our environmental impacts. We'd also like to maintain our security around the sites, and we are coordinating with the City of Edmonton some of their other initiatives, such as the Ribbon of Green Master Plan. So what those barriers could look like. We have a slide showing here. Again, in blue, you can see where the North Saskatchewan River normally is. That section labeled as A was how high up it got in 1986. And then across the entire site, it could come at 1 in 500. What's shown in orange are the embankments that we have conceptualized for right now. What's shown in yellow are the flood walls that we have conceptualized. We have some restrictions, but for the most part, we're open to conversation about what's a flood wall and what's an earthen embankment. The area that's labeled A, so the space between our low lift pump houses and the river, is quite tight, and we'd like to maintain a flood wall there to ensure that we're being responsible from an environmental perspective. Perpendicular to the river, so coming up and down between the river and the plant site, those are also shown as walls at present. Again, to just minimize encroachment into the trees and be conscious of the potential for environmental impact there. There's certainly some room for conversation one way or another between flood walls or embankments in that space. And then coming across the site shown in orange, that's conceptualized as an embankment at present. There's some room to go back and forth with that as well. Those could certainly be walls rather than embankments if that is a strong preference from community feedback. Of course, all of the feedback that we get will be taken in conjunction with cost considerations, our technical requirements, and that environmental impact that we've been talking about. So if you were to stand at the letter A and take a slice through it, pick it up and look at it from the side, this is what you might see. That wall that's shown there could range from 2.5 to 4.5 meters in height. So just keeping in mind that the top of the wall would remain static. It wouldn't change, and it's the ground that undulates up and down that makes that wall seem like it's higher, depending on how high the existing ground is. In between the wall and the natural landscape, we need to maintain a grass-only zone. That's one of our technical requirements to ensure that we can perform inspections on both sides of that wall to ensure that there's no burrowing animals that have created a flow path underneath the wall, no aggressive root systems that have done the same. We have the opportunity to plant some shrubbery past the grass-only zone to transition into the natural landscape as well, depending where along the wall we are. And just showing how high up that floodwater can get. Looking at this picture, we're looking at that retaining wall again, like we had taken a slice through it. And to the right, there is the water treatment plant. And to the left, you see how high up the North Saskatchewan River gets at a 1 in 500. There's also shown a buffer zone there. So there is certainly some potential for unexpected conditions. And we want to make sure that whatever we put in place will be suitable for the volume of water that we're designing to. And that buffer zone just gives us a little bit of leeway for those unexpected conditions. If you were to stand across the river at Henderson Estates and take a look at the water treatment plant from there, this is what you could see. What's shown in yellow is superimposed as a wall, the alignment that it would take and what it might look like from across the river. And then you can see it coming down the side and transitioning into a berm. And if you were to take a walk along that wall, this is what you could see with trees to the left and the wall to the right. Just coming back to this aerial view, this top-down look at our water treatment plants, if you were to stand on either side of where the wall is, where it's shown in orange that we're looking at those landscaped embankments, and take a slice through those and pick them up and look at them from the side, this is what you could see. So we would have the water treatment plant on the right-hand side, that embankment shown in green, how high up the water could get at a 1 in 500 return period, and that 1 meter of buffer zone to account for unexpected conditions. So we're really looking to you to let us know how you use those areas, what kinds of things are important to you, what you'd like to see. For example, if we were to apply some kind of treatment to a wall to beautify the space, and how you use the area. So you can reach us by phone at 780-412-3599. You can reach us by email at waterprojects@epcor.com, or you can visit us online. We have a page dedicated to E.L. Smith, also one to Rossdale, and the E.L. Smith site is shown here, and there's another video for Rossdale talking about some of the specifics in that area if you're interested in that as well. Thanks for your time. Looking forward to hearing your feedback.